Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor, and today I'm going to be sharing with you all the books that I read for the month of February. This is my February reading wrap-up. I read a total of 4 books for the month of February. Alright, so the first book that I read was Dungeons and Drama by Christy Boyce. This is a young adult rom-com. So we start with our main character, Riley, who is a musical theater enthusiast. We start the book off with her and her best friend driving over to the next town without a driver's license to see the musical Waitress. Of course, her mother and father are furious with her, so her punishment is she has to work a few weeks in her dad's gaming shop. He owns a gaming shop with board games, video games, etc., and he actually hosts several nights a week a bunch of game nights. One of those games being Dungeons and Dragons. So while she's working at her father's store, she comes across a boy that she goes to school with who is an employee at her father's store. They immediately clash and don't get along very well. So in addition to working at the store that she's not really thrilled about, Riley's spring musical is on the verge of getting canceled due to limited budgeting and low interest. As if things couldn't get any worse, Riley comes into contact with her ex-boyfriend while she's working at the store. So the next thing she knows, she makes up a fake boyfriend just to make her boyfriend jealous and to leave her alone because he's already moved on, and she picks Nathan because he is the first person that she sees, much to his horror. But she strikes a deal with him and says, if you'll do this for me, I'll help you try to win your crush, who's in their Dungeons and Drama play sessions. So they are now fake dating, and Riley gets to enjoy spending time with her dad, who she's a little estranged from because her parents are divorced and doesn't get to spend a lot of time with him. And she joins the Dungeons and Dramas play session and actually starts to have fun and invites her best friend to do it with her. And of course, a romance is going to ensue, but maybe not the way that they thought that it would. This was a very fun book to read. It's very short. I think there's only it's like 293 pages, almost 300 pages, very short but sweet. It was the perfect book to get me out of my reading slump. I was in a really big reading slump for the month of January, and this really took me out of the slump. It was just really fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the gaming aspect, the Dungeons and Dragons. I just really thought that was unique, and I haven't seen in books a lot, so that was really fun. I really liked the characters. The chemistry was great. The writing was fun. Yeah, this was just a really fun book to help get me out of my slump. And I rated this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. All right, book number 2 for February was When in Rome by Sarah Adams. This is an adult rom-com. In this book, we follow one of our main characters, Amelia, who is a pop princess. And she is desperately wanting to get away from her life and take a break before she has a mental breakdown, basically. Amelia is a very big Audrey Hepburn fan, and one of her favorite movies, if not her favorite movie, is When in Rome. So she decides to take inspiration from this character and decides to get in her car one evening, actually night, and drive off and see where she goes. She actually types in Rome into her GPS, and the closest Rome she can find is in Kentucky. So she takes off, and her car actually breaks down in this little tiny town called Rome. Of course, who comes to her rescue but our grumpy but lovable character, Noah. There is an immediate attraction between both characters, and while Amelia is trying to remain incognito and under the radar, she starts to develop feelings for Noah. Noah, coming from a big breakup, wants nothing to do with Amelia, even though he's very attracted to her. With a slight nudge from his 3 younger sisters, Noah starts to realize his feelings for Amelia. But are their worlds just too far apart? With our pop princess in the limelight, getting ready to embark on a world tour, and our local family baker who does not want to leave his family. To me personally, Grumpy Sunshine is not my favorite trope. I absolutely loved Sarah Adams' The Cheat Sheet. It was Best Friends to Lovers. That was more my trope, and I just devoured that book and loved it. This one, first of all, the trope, and then second of all, I just found the plot a little unrealistic. Here's your celebrity pop star and your low-key country boy trying to get together. To me, it just didn't work out very well. it was not believable in my personal opinion. I kind of had a hard time getting through this one. I found it a little slow at some points, and it just wasn't my favorite read by Sarah Adams. Content level, there were a few minor to moderate curse words and a few non-detailed spicy scenes. I gave this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The third book that I read for the month of February is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is the second book in the Caraval series, and our point of view is from Donatella. She goes by Tella. So in Caraval, we were in Scarlet, her older sister's point of view, and this one is Donatella's point of view, Tella. I don't want to go into a lot of detail for this book plot-wise, because if you haven't read Caraval, there's going to be some spoilers if I were to talk about this one. So all I'm going to say about this one is I didn't like it quite as much as I did Caraval. It wasn't a bad read at all, but I was a little bit more engaged in Caraval. It just held my attention a bit more. I absolutely just did not like the character of Jax in this book. He was just not my favorite character on the planet. So he has a really, really, really big part in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. So if I didn't like him in this book, I'm a little scared to read that series, even though I know it's going to be great and I'm still going to read it, of course. So we do get some big reveals in this one, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I am very excited to continue the series and read the final book called Finale. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. And then last but not least, the fourth book that I read was Emma by Jane Austen. And I did pick up this cute little copy at my local bookstore, which just opened a few months ago and is absolutely fantastic and awesome. And I just thought this one was so cute. It's little, tiny, and adorable. So personally, this is my favorite book by Jane Austen, and actually my favorite movie too. I really enjoyed the movie. The old version with Gwyneth Paltrow, that's like my favorite Jane Austen movie. So this follows Emma Woodhouse. She's our main character, and she loves to matchmake. She likes to find couples who she think would make a perfect match. So she takes under her wing a young lady who is a little bit below her station, and she develops a friendship with her, and she tries to basically prepare her for marriage and adulthood, and she sets her sights on the local vicar named Mr. Elton. She thinks Harriet and Mr. Elton will be a perfect match. Of course, things do not go as planned, and Mr. Elton actually has feelings for Emma. Emma, of course, lets him down, and Mr. Elton escapes to Bath for several months. In the meantime, her old governess's stepson, Frank Churchill, comes to town, and Emma thinks she's developing feelings for him, even though she vows never to marry. We have our Mr. Knightley, whose brother is married to Emma's sister, and he remains a strong presence in Emma's life. After Mr. Elton returns to Highbury with his new wife, Emma decides to try to lift Harriet's spirits, and decides to attempt to pair her with Mr. Frank Churchill because Emma has decided she doesn't actually really care for him. Will Harriet and Mr. Churchill end up together? And will Emma find true love? This book has been around for so long, of course, I probably can give away spoilers and everybody will know. But just in case you have never read the book or seen the movie, I will not do that. This was a delightful read. This book did take me a little longer to read. That's probably why I only got to 4 books, because this took me a little longer than I had hoped for because of the writing style. The writing style back then was, in my opinion, a little, well, first of all, very different than how we talk now. And so it's harder for me to read and to catch things. So I really have to slow down, take my time, and focus. And that's probably why it took me a little longer than I had hoped. However, it was so much fun and I enjoyed it, and it was well worth my time, definitely. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. So I've kind of decided to start rating my books, which one I liked best and the least during each month. So my least favorite book was When in Rome. Third place goes to Legendary. Second place, Emma. And then my favorite for the month was Dungeons and Drama. I just enjoyed it. So yes, those were the books that I read for the month of February. I felt that it was a good month. I am on fire for March. I'm super excited for the books that I'm reading right now. And I will have a reading wrap up for the month of March a little later. But yeah, I thought it was a successful month. All right, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you watching. And if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And we will see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.